Welcome to the Next Big Flip podcast, where it's not just about flipping for profit, but flipping for purpose. I'm your host, Lawan Diggs, author of The Craigslist Hustle and 20 Years of Flipper. Whether it's furniture, fashion, or just your mindset, we're here to help you take what you have and make it work. From everyday hustlers to unexpected side gigs, you'll hear real stories, real strategies, and maybe even find your next big flip. The one that gets you to your next moment. The next big flip. Let's get it. Now on Instagram, it says saving used furniture. Then it says AZ, so I'm taking it that's from Arizona. Then he also highlights Goodwill challenges. Now, Jake Merkus, also known as Jake's Junk. Does that pretty much sum you up for this season of life?
There's more to it, but for the most part, yes.
What's crazy, so this is the first for the next big flip. I am actually in Mesa, Arizona, spending some time with Jake. And when I tell you the content that was captured, you are going to want to see that video. But I usually do not reach out to people asking for podcast interviews or anything like that have big followings, because a lot of times they are so unapproachable or they are too busy. But Jake, you with almost 1 million combined followers, I thank you so much for taking time and welcoming me into your home.
No, man, thank you. I really appreciate you flying out here.
Yeah.
It means a lot, honestly.
Tell us a little bit about you, Jake.
Yeah, so I'm a full-time flipper. I've been doing furniture flipping since I was a teenager, since I was about 13 years old. And I kind of never looked back. It kind of started as like a high school hobby to save up for my first car. And the rest is history. I decided when I was a teenager, when I was 17, 18, that pivotal age where you decide if you want to go to college or not. I just told myself that it wasn't for me, and I wanted to pursue this full time, which I did. And I'm now 29 years old, been doing it ever since, and love what I do.
Okay, now how did you actually get introduced to the idea of flipping and reselling? How did that come about for you?
Yeah, and this was way back in the day before. I mean, a lot of these new sites were popular. There's no TikTok, barely any Instagram back then. So it was really an organic learn. My father and I would go out on the weekends, and back then we didn't have Marketplace, we didn't have OfferUp. We would go yard sales and auctions. And we'd go out and we would, back then I was a teenager. I had $40 or $50 to my name, and my father kind of taught me the entire business. He showed me the ropes and kind of taught me what to buy and how to flip it. So we'd go out, shop, take something home. And back then we had Craigslist. So I'd take what I bought at the yard sales, fix it up, clean it, and then flip it on Craigslist.
Nice. Now, is your father still alive?
Yes, he's still around. Yep.
Do you still go out with him from time to time?
Time to time. He's actually still in corporate.
Okay. Okay.
And so that's why on the weekends when he had some time off, he would take us flipping. But yeah, he's still around. He's taught me everything. I owe all this to him.
Now, one thing that a lot of people may not know what is when you say Goodwill challenge.
Yes.
What is a Goodwill challenge, and how did you come about with that?
So it's funny. I'm actually kind of taking a step back with the Goodwill challenges. That's kind of how I started doing all this. And I brought them back to really just show people kind of where this all started. And I think it's a great way to really learn how to furniture flip. I mean, for the most part, everyone has a Goodwill in town. And, it doesn't take a whole lot. You can find some really good deals there. So the Goodwill challenge is just to kind of show people like, hey, take $40, $20, $60, whatever it is, go into a Goodwill and find something to thrift. There's always a big variety of items there, and it's a great way for beginners to start.
What's your go-to item when it comes to furniture?
My go-to is couches. I still sell couches full time. Not as much the Goodwill challenges. I kind of brought those back for the content and to kind of help inspire the younger generation who wants to start this. But my go-to is flipping couches for a living.
Now, where do you usually find most of your couches that you flip? Is it Facebook Marketplace, Goodwill, thrift store?
It's very, very rarely Goodwill. For the most part, it is Facebook Marketplace and OfferUp. And I've been doing this for so long now. It really got exposed during the pandemic. But I've been doing this long before that. And it's a great way to make a great income, and it's a great feeling taking this old kind of beat up furniture, giving it a second life, and making a profit on it.
Okay, now when looking at a couch, as we're going to use couches as examples, how do you know if a couch is worth buying to resell?
So it's funny, just like anything else, whether you're flipping real estate, you're flipping cars, if you're flipping T-shirts, you just kind of have an eye for it after a while. What I look for big sectionals. The bigger, the better. I look for nice, modern stuff. I try to stay away from older furniture. I try to get really nice, new, clean stuff, because what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to compete with people who are in the stores about to buy new couches, but don't want to spend $3,000 or $4,000. So we're trying to get nice, new, modern stuff and compete with the new prices.
Now with these couches, especially a sectional, they are so big. Do you like have help to move them? Because I seen you like putting some of the couches in the back of your truck by yourself. Look like it.
Yeah, by myself. I mean, the good thing is these couches with the cushions off are not as heavy as they look. You could always ask the people who are selling it to give you a hand. You could bring a dolly. If you have a partner or help with you, even better. But for the most part, I move these by myself.
That's pretty cool. Now, what inspired you? Because it's one thing to buy and sell items or resell items, but what actually inspired you to start sharing your flipping journey on social media with others?
It's funny. This is all very, very new. I was never like a TikTok guy. I was never a content creator. This is all new in the last 8 or 9 months. But kind of how it all started was I realized last year, I was like, I don't have any video proof of all this flipping from all these years. And I have no story to kind of bring with me in the future. If my kids ever ask what I did for work in my 20s, I have no video proof. And at the time, I thought, what better place to post than TikTok, because I have no followers. No one's going to see it. This is perfect. So it's kind of like my little hideaway. So I made video content. I posted it on TikTok, and the rest is kind of history there too. It just kind of blew up overnight, which was awesome. And now I have like this really just genuine, cool community of people who love this journey, and I'm happy to keep sharing it with you guys.
And he makes it sound like it was a night and day thing. Now we talked a little bit more in his vehicle now. So when you actually posted a video on TikTok, you said you were at a concert, and what happened? Yeah,
so I just like anybody else, when I first started posting content, it was slow. You know, I got a couple hundred views per video, which is fine because I wasn't looking for views at the time. I just wanted to post it for myself. And we went to Las Vegas. I think it was last November. My little brother wanted to go to a Travis Scott concert. So we went out there, and I remember I had one of my videos in my draft, and I posted it in Vegas, not thinking anything about it. Kind of put my phone away. We walked the Vegas Strip for a little bit. Came back to the room, I checked my phone, and I had like 50,000 views. And I was like, oh my God, this is my first big video. And it was the coolest feeling. For anyone who has like their first, like for me at the time, it was a viral video. It was like the most motivating feeling. And all the comments were good, and people were really supportive. And from there, the rest just kind of took off. I mean, I think for anyone who makes content, that first kind of breakthrough video really sets you up for the future. So that video did very well. The videos following that did very well. And now here we are.
Now, I don't get into people's personal finance, and we won't on here, but with you being a social media, I would say, quote unquote, rising star, it's opened up like some brand deals like that were unexpected.
Yeah, it's really cool. And a huge shout out to my management company. But yeah, it's crazy to see how just flipping furniture can open so many doors with these huge companies. I mean, billion-dollar companies who want to work with you and appreciate what you do. It's been such a fulfilling feeling.
And what's great to see is it's not like you're chasing these opportunities, but you're doing something that you passionately love. And it's like your gift made room for you to where people are seeing that you love doing this. And they're like, hey, let's partner with this guy. You have great charisma. We were just talking about the energy that you have, and just you're a people person. And so I'm so glad to be able to sit here with you. Now, you was talking about you was just like in a coffee shop or something, and like an older lady was saying, hey, I watch your videos too.
It's crazy who watches. You never know who's watching your video. But it's been really cool recently to have people come up in public, introduce themselves, and thank me for the content. And it's all ages. I met this sweet lady in a coffee shop a few weeks ago, and she was probably in her late 60s, and she's like, me and my daughter love your videos. We watch every single one of them. And we chatted for a little bit about a Pottery Barn couch that she had. But you never know who you're reaching and what impact that you can have. It's a really cool feeling.
That's awesome. And let's talk about, so when I pulled up and I see this vehicle sitting out in the driveway, now I noticed one of his vehicles, which was a pickup truck, because I seen it in some of the videos. But then I seen the other vehicle. I said, oh, he must have his manager or somebody here is about to sign a big deal with him. But how did you come about getting this vehicle, and what are they wanting you to do with it?
Yeah, so I had my manager reach out to me, and she got an offer from GMC, and they said that they just kind of want me to showcase their new Hummer EV. They said, we're not forcing you to post content about it. We'd love if you did. But we'd love to have you drive the Hummer for a week and just kind of showcase it. So they dropped it off yesterday. It's a beautiful kind of orange-red, brand new Hummer, and it's been sweet. But that's just another opportunity that kind of came about from all this flipping stuff.
That's pretty neat. And so you all will see that in the actual video that I post on YouTube. So continue to follow. Mm-hmm. Now, I just really just want to just take time, just because it's not every day that you get someone who's been doing this for 15 years like you have, and for people to follow you. And so, as you know, in opposite of like a Travis Scott or a Taylor Swift, people follow them as superstars and they're fanning out over them. But people follow you because they can actually see themselves in you. You're so relatable. You're doing something that they can see themselves doing. How does that make you feel?
It's such an amazing feeling. And I just really want my page to just feel authentic. I want it to feel genuine. I think in a world where we live now, where there's just, I hate to say it, but there's just so much garbage online and so many people who try to take advantage of you and so many scams out there. I just want to kind of make a safe place where anyone can do this. That's why I've kind of gone back to the Goodwill challenges and say, hey, I'm here today at Goodwill with 20 or 40 bucks in my pocket. And then I go inside and I showcase that, again, this doesn't take some special talent. I'm using just basic tools in my garage, a little bit of imagination, and putting some money in my back pocket.
That's awesome. Now, as we sit here in your beautiful home, Jake, he gave me a tour of his home and pretty much walked me around every item that was either thrifted or given for free. And when I tell you, when you see the video, you're going to see how beautiful his home is. You can either go on his Instagram if you want to see it a lot sooner, but just even walk me through that, Jake, like some of the stuff you have in your house. How was that coming about, getting it free and thrifting, and just about how much money do you think you saved?
Yeah. And first of all, I appreciate the compliment on the house. Thank you. So, I mean, this is a lot of hard work to buy this house with my bare hands. I mean, all this was from flipping, but I want to practice what I preach. And, my entire page is thrifting, buying secondhand. So we were able to do that with our house. Everything in the house we bought on Marketplace, OfferUp, from yard sales, from Goodwill. And, it's still in the works. We've only been here for a couple months so far, but so far so good.
Nice. Now, we was talking a little bit about travel. You said that originally you are from Maine, and I think like 16 other people are from there. So it's a smaller state.
on a good day, right?
On a good day. A lot of people may not know about it. But we talked about just with you doing your flipping here local, but also maybe even doing some content as you travel, because you said you are about to visit family in Maine. Mm-hmm. And what would that even look like with you doing, just some flip content in Maine? Because some people may think, well, he's in Arizona, it's a bigger state or a city in Phoenix. Mm-hmm. I can't do that here in Maine. Yep. What do you think that would look like if you went to your grandparents and tried to do this?
It's a great question. I've never tried flipping out of state before. And I have a lot of people ask about how to do this, how to get started, what to look for, how to sell. And I do take maybe my situation here for granted. I mean, I do live in Phoenix. There's millions of people who live here. This would definitely be a lot more difficult in Maine, but I think it's doable. And I think you just kind of have to transition with whatever your market looks like. What sells out here in Phoenix might not sell in Maine. And what sells in Maine might not sell out here. So what I want to do is I'm going to Maine next month. My sweet grandmother Nanny was in one of my more recent videos, and she wants to go thrifting. So we're just going to go out there, see what Maine has to offer on the thrift side. I've never thrifted out there before, but I think we can make it work, and I want to show all the people of Maine that you can do this too.
Okay, so we just land in Maine. You get your rental car, mm-hmm. or somebody's picking you up, and you make it to your grandmother's house. Yeah. What's the first thing you're doing if you're looking to flip? Where are you going? Like Facebook Marketplace?
I'm going to go Marketplace. I'm going to go OfferUp, see how it is out there. Maybe Craigslist in Maine. My grandmother still says they put some of the yard sales in the newspaper. So maybe open the newspaper up, and we'll just get right to shopping. We'll go out there and see what we can find. I may have to rent a U-Haul, but I want to make a fun challenge out of it and say, hey, I'm only here for a few days. Let's see what we can do, and I think we're going to be successful with it.
I'm just waiting a few seconds to give some of my younger listeners a chance to look up the word newspaper.
Yeah, check it out.
Like, what is a newspaper?
They're still around.
They're still around. Yep. Okay, so let's say you come across this couch that you just love. Mm-hmm. but it has a few scuff marks and, it needs a little repairing. Now, are you going to take your kit with you, or are you going to buy the tools that you need on site?
Depends on how severe the couch is. I think for the most part, I can do without all my tools and equipment here. I'll try to find something nicer. I do have some old rookie techniques that I can maybe pull out. Before I used a steam cleaner back in the day, I used to just boil a pot of water on the stove. I would take a towel, I would dump it in the water, in the pot of water, and then I would kind of clean the couch with that, use the steam from that, and then use a separate towel to dry it. So I can get crafty even without my tools here.
Hey, Next Big Flip family, I've got some exciting news. I'm hitting the road for the Next Big Flip Road Show. Over the next few weeks, I'll be visiting some of my amazing guests right in their element, from South Carolina to California and everywhere in between. We'll be thrifting, flipping, and capturing the behind-the-scene moments you don't get to hear in the studio. You'll get tips, tricks, and real-life inspiration straight from the people making their own Next Big Flip stories happen. Now is the perfect time to hit the subscribe button so you'll be the first to know when the very first episode drops. And don't worry, I'll still bring you great audio episodes for your listening pleasure. But now, you'll also get to see the stories, the smiles, and the flips that keep us all inspired. So get ready, because this journey is all about showing you that your next big flip might be closer than you think. Now let's get back to the interview, where Jake goes into more detail about cleaning techniques used over the years when cleaning couches. It's interesting because I've been seeing a lot of videos that are going viral where people do that. They boil the water and put like some, maybe some Tide or laundry detergent, and then they get your towel and you spread it out flat, but you take like the lid to like a pot, one of your cooking pots. They take the lid and put it in the towel, wrap the towel around it, and use the handle on the lid to scrub back and forth.
Love that, yeah.
But people are saying, no, you're just rotating germs, and you're just, redistributing the germs. But do you think that the hot water actually cleans those?
I think it does. And everyone always asks me about like what supplies and solutions, to buy. And it's not really, all this Tide and all these fancy solutions, they're great, but it always comes down to how hot your water is. The hotter the water, the better it's going to clean. So if you have a pot of boiling water, I don't think those germs stand a chance. So I think it'll be okay.
Nice. Now, with me, I do a lot of washers and dryers. And so over the years, I've come across quite a few injuries, just depending on if I'm in a rush and I end up cutting myself or something. Do you got any war wounds from cleaning furniture that you can think of?
Oh, my hands are always cut up. I'm really, I guess I'm superstitious about injury. And I guess in a way it's kind of held me back. I'm always afraid in the gym to bench too heavy and tear a pec or tear a bicep. I stopped playing basketball. I tore my ACL a few years ago. So I limit myself on the more active side because I can't afford to not work. But as far as minor injuries, yeah, I'm always cut up every single day. It's just part of the job.
Part of the job, and that's interesting that you're being transparent, because we look at these videos and you edit them down to you take a 10-hour project and you edit it down to 30 seconds, and they're like, okay, yeah, it's got to be easy. But no, you're getting some war wounds, you're getting cut up, you're getting scuffed.
You're getting cut up, man. And this business is a lot of work. I think those who are successful are the guys who just get in there and they're consistent and they get their hands dirty. It is a lot of work behind the scenes. You guys see a 4 or 5 minute TikTok, but some of those projects take 7 or 8 hours. So it's a lot of work, but you know what? It's fun. The time goes by quick. It's a great feeling bringing this stuff back to life, and also a great feeling putting some money in your pocket. Interesting.
That's a good way to look at it. Now, when you go back to Maine, will your father be there with you as well?
No, he's not going this time. He usually does. So it's usually it's myself, my brother, my sister, my father. But this time it's going to be Megan and I going back to see him.
It would be pretty cool for you to do some content and do like a thrift challenge against your dad.
Ooh.
Like old school, young school, just to see who can come up and say, okay, we both got $100 and let's see who comes out on top.
Yep. My dad used to say there's boy strength and there's man strength. He's kind of saying that, he is the sensei pretty much, right?
Yeah.
Right. And I'm still the student, but that'd be a lot of fun. I did recently do a video with my brother, Max. We kind of had like a brother challenge, which the video kind of started out as a challenge. And then we decided to kind of just combine our money and do one flip together. We did this Nerf cabinet. But it's really cool. My entire family, we've been doing this forever, and everyone kind of has their own talents. My brother Max, he's brilliant. He's an engineer. He's really good with like computers and wires and all the electrical stuff that I don't want to deal with. I'm kind of more hands-on, the repairs, the cleaning, the painting. So everyone kind of has their own strength.
That's true. So with you and your father, so he's the teacher and you're the disciple.
And I will say this about my father. Okay.
Okay.
Sorry to cut you off.
Okay, no.
This man can negotiate like I've never seen anybody negotiate. That's he's like the talker, and when you get into this business, I think being able to negotiate is the most important part, and not just lowballing people, but there's kind of a skill that comes to negotiating where it's not what you say, but how you say it. And that's kind of his strength. So I think, kind of pulling all these skills together, kind of like assembling the Avengers is really important, but that's his thing. Yep.
Nice. So he's the master negotiator.
Exactly.
Now, do you think in your heart that you've passed him as the disciple?
I think at this point, I think I have. I mean, because again, he does his own thing for a living. He's still working corporate, and I've kind of stayed back in the garage and done this myself all these years. But there's still things to this day that he can do and he can say that I can't. You
heard it here, Mr. Merkis. Your son has called you out on the challenge, so you have 30 days to respond. And you both get $200, and let's see who can flip it to 1,000 the quickest.
I don't want him taking my brand deals.
Right. That's fun. Okay, so let me ask you. So, what's one flip that you felt like was your next big flip? And I know you've had a lot of flips along the way over 15 years. And when I say next big flip, not necessarily something that had monetary value, but something that said, you know what, I'm still in the game to fight another day. I'm so glad I was able to do this flip.
I'm going to take a second to think on this one.
That's fine.
I've done thousands and thousands of flips. I mean, even when this is done, I'd like to show you this old book I made for my dad. This is back in 2018. And even at that point, I have so many flips. I get overwhelmed thinking about it. I have no idea. There's so many different flips, and every flip is so unique. And, a lot of, I guess, not so much the flip, but I guess the story behind it. I mean, the flips where I'm with my dad in the truck and we're just, driving down the road together. Those are important. Some of the people I've met have been great. I mean, there's other flips that have brought insane amounts of money that I'll never forget. I mean, every flip is just so different. It's really hard. It's really hard to just pinpoint one of them.
And that makes total sense. For me, flipping brings about freedom. And so I never was one to chase the money, even though I knew the money would come, but I wanted to chase time with my sons because that time goes fast. And so for you who is looking to be a father in the future, one thing I tell my fathers, the best way to spell love to a child is Time. And so I always wanted to spend time with my children, but yet still be able to provide for them. And so that's something flipping has allowed me the opportunity to do. For flipping for someone in their 20s like yourself, what does it mean for you even today? Because I don't see you stopping anytime soon.
No, and I feel like it's kind of a lost art. I feel like I'm an old soul in a way, and kind of like what you were saying, we talked earlier about the American Pickers, the old show on the History Channel. And, those guys weren't really in it, for the money. My dad and I used to kind of laugh at the numbers they put on the screen. They drive all over the country, spending probably thousands of dollars on gas. They pull up to somebody's house, they buy a toy for $20 and sell it for $40. And it's like, how are these guys making money? And what you learn is it's more than just the money. It's the passion behind it. It's the time with your family. Yeah. It's the art of bringing this stuff back to life, giving it a second life. So the whole business itself is just, I think it's just so pure. It's a lost art, and I hope maybe with...
And I know with the thousands of flips, it's kind of crazy, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy. I know some people say, I wish I would have knew about this certain tool or this certain app, or even like Google Lens. I wish I knew about, but that's fairly new with Google Lens.
Yeah. If I can go back, let's just say I was starting from day one again, I would, it's hard to say. I mean, I would say this. I wouldn't take any day for granted.
Nice.
There's every day you go out there and you flip something and you make a profit, all those little days add up. I mean, I've done this every single day for 15 years. I work 7 days a week. I love what I do, but there's, if I can go back and start, I wish I just took advantage of it earlier, sooner, just went full force ahead at a young age. And I think for those of you listening out there who are young, you have such a great head start. And there's so many tools these days, like we talked about, like there's Google Lens, there's all this AI stuff to give you ideas. There's Marketplace, OfferUp, there's all these different apps. You can, I shouldn't say it's easy to make money. You got to get your hands dirty, but there's so many ways to make quick money.
Yes.
And I think you should take advantage of these tools that we didn't have back in the day. All we had was Craigslist and yard sales. But yeah, if I can go back in time, man, I would have just maybe gone even harder than I actually did.
That makes sense. That makes total sense. Now, do you have any other plans in the work to maybe write a book, do a podcast yourself, or anything that's exciting you?
I would love to, and I think it kind of goes hand in hand with my TikTok. And I grew up watching the TV shows, Pawn Stars, American Pickers, Rick's Restoration, all those shows. I love to maybe one day just have a little TV show where I can just kind of showcase what I do and just the passion and love behind it. It'd be great to have a podcast. We'll just kind of see. I mean, what I've learned is life, just kind of let life take over, take the wheel.
Nice.
And I never expected any of this social media growth I've had this year, but it just kind of happened. I think that's kind of important in life. I think if you work hard, make good decisions, and just kind of let life take the wheel for you, I think you're going to be in good hands.
I believe it. And I'm a hat guy myself. I usually have one on, and I'm looking at your hat, and I'm gonna take a picture, and I'm gonna most likely use it as the thumbnail. But that's a pretty cool hat.
This one right here?
Yes.
Thank you.
Did you do that here local or?
Yeah, no, this is actually, it was local, but we actually made this logo with ChatGPT. I said, hey, my name's Jake, Jake's Junk. I refurbish couches and furniture. Can you make me a logo? And it kind of has like this recycle look to it. So we got the hats out. I want to make some t-shirts. I like cropping my shirts, so maybe like a light crop at the bottom.
Come on.
We'll make the baby tees for the girls. We'll make tank tops. We'll do hoodies, sweatshirts, all that stuff.
So you do got some stuff in the works.
I got stuff always, man. Always,
come on with it. And when I tell y'all, like, this is a nice hat, and I'm looking at it, like the cardboard in the front on bib and all that is, my sons are thrifters and they're fashion gurus in their own sense. And so, yeah, I'm looking at it, I'm like, dang, it's hard to do this interview without looking at this hat.
Thank you, bro. Thank you. I got to be careful. I wear so many hats. I got to be careful with my hairline, though. I don't want to lose it,
That makes sense.
Out here in the sun, if it's so hot and I'm sweating all the time, I'm like, they look cool. But man, I'm like, my hairline is asking for it,
See, I lost mine years ago. That's something I
wish
somebody
You still got it.
I wish somebody would have told me years ago. Don't wear all these hats.
My corners are kind of inching up a little bit. I don't like it.
It's nothing you can't respray back on.
Exactly, right? Or go to Turkey,
When I tell you, I know of quite a few guys that went to Turkey. Now they're beginning stage when they have to cut all your hair off and put, and it looks horrible, but the hair grows back.
I know. At the beginning stage, I got to erase myself from the internet for about 6 months and then come back to it.
That's it. Just keep reposting old videos.
Yes, sir.
You got enough content. Now, Speaking of Turkey, now we was talking earlier in the car, and I like to ask some of my guests from time to time, what's some bucket list places you would want to visit? And you mentioned Greece.
I'm Greek. I do want to go to Greece. Greece looks beautiful. I got to find the time for it. The only problem is I have a hard time with traveling. I just love what I do so much. I'm a homebody. And when I leave the house for a few days, I get really anxious and get really guilty. So I have a hard time, I guess, enjoying my time away from the house just because I fall back so much on my business and what I do here.
And I can totally understand that. But for somebody who's traveled 6 continents and several countries around the world, I can tell you what's here at home will be here when you get back.
That's true.
But those memories that you can make in the meantime, in the interim, you cannot get that back. Mm-hmm. So even if you get a week or two just to travel and spend time with family, friends, your girlfriend or whoever, those are memories that you are going to make that you'll never be able to get back. But that couch is going to be here.
That's true.
The buyer, they're still going to be here.
Yep.
And so when I was saying TIME spells love to a child, it also spells it to your loved ones as well. The amount of time that you can spend with them. Now, I'm not saying just be lazy and just, no, we understand you work hard. I know you do, but go to Greece.
Yes, I know. I need to get out there. Yep. I need to get out there.
That'd be good. Now, let me ask you, do you have any books, podcasts, or tools that may have helped you along the way in your flipping journey?
And maybe this is one of my flaws. I'm just, like I've always said, I'm just kind of a one-man team here. I kind of keep to myself. I work out in the garage all day. I haven't really explored many books or podcasts, but it's something that I'm definitely open to. I love what you're putting together here. I think we need more of this, just kind of motivating, hands-on content. But no, to be honest, there's not many books or podcasts that I've really fallen back on.
Makes sense.
When I first got into real estate, I was reading some books, and back then it was like the Grant Cardones. That's back in 2017 when all that was popular. But aside from that, man, I don't feel like there's really any content that has to do with really this space. And I think that's great with what you're doing. I think we need to shed some light on this because it is such a niche but special market that I think needs more attention.
Thank you. And that makes sense. And even we're kind of similar in the sense that you was just talking about real estate. So when I got started in my flipping journey about 20 years ago, about 4 years into it, I was able to get my real estate license and start my real estate journey as well. And you said the same thing with yourself, like this flipping helped you to like get some real estate property and
Yeah. And that was kind of like my own mini goal to myself, was I wanted to save up enough money flipping couches and furniture to flip real estate. I always had a passion for real estate. I actually wanted to be a realtor out of high school. And I did get my real estate license when I was about 19, 20 years old. And I had a really, really hard time with it. I think being a realtor in Arizona is very tough. There's a lot of agents out here. It's very competitive. And when you're 19 years old with no experience, you can't really compete with these big dogs. So I tried the real estate thing for about 9 or 10 months. And I just said, you know what, maybe I'm just not quite ready for this. So I took a step back from it, but I said, I do want to be in the real estate game. And I said, if not maybe selling houses to buyers and sellers, what if I invest and flip my own properties? So over the course of a few years, because it does take some money at first to flip your own property, I was able to save up enough and bought my first real estate investment property almost 2 years ago now, which did very well for myself. So kind of cross it off the bucket list. But yeah, I took the money that I made from flipping furniture into flipping real estate.
Now, I not only listen as a host for these episodes, but I'm also listening like one of the listeners. And so they're like, you mean you was able to flip enough along the way to get into real estate and do that? So like and I talk about taking sips, like when you think of like the coffee that you're drinking right now, you just take small sips, it adds up. Exactly. So those small flips here and there ended up accumulating to the point where you was able to actually do some real estate investment.
Yeah. And it's a lot of work. And I think on top of all this, I try to be really smart with my money. I wouldn't call myself cheap, but I do sacrifice a lot of things that people would maybe spend on to maybe put in my back pocket to save for a rainy day. And I think when you do that over time, it really does add up. But all these flips, and going back to earlier when I said that maybe I wish I started sooner or took more advantage of slow days. I mean, that $400 you sell, a dresser for $400, $500, $600, $700, even $50, all those little sales add up over time. And as long as you manage your money properly and say, okay, this amount is for bills, this amount is for fun, this amount is for savings. That savings over time, over the course, took me a good 10 years of saving. That piggy bank grows. And then you tell yourself, okay, I think I'm ready for this. And you go tackle that first real estate deal.
That's nice. And as I hear you talk about your budget, here recently, my budget has been this $10 is for hamburger, this $10 for pizza, and these are for wings. And so my wife's not too happy about that.
That's okay. This food getting expensive too, man.
It can be. And so the hotel I'm staying at now, I'm like, okay, they offer breakfast, so that saves me $15. So I'm telling my wife, I'm being good. I'm not spending all the money on food, I promise.
Exactly. Yep. Goes a long way.
Yeah. So as we get ready to land this plane, Jake, let me ask you, is there any advice you would give someone who's hesitant to start a side hustle? What's one small step someone could take possibly this week just to get started?
Yeah, and great question, because I get so many DMs from guys who want to start, and I think like analysis of paralysis, the saying. I think a lot of people are just kind of hesitant or have so many questions about what to buy, how to buy it, what tools do I use, where do I buy from, how much should I list it for, how do you make a listing, all this stuff. You could write a book about how to do it a certain way, but the most important part is just get out there and just do it. And don't worry about the profit in the beginning. If you go buy a dresser for $50 and you sell it for $30 and you take a bath on it, or you don't sell it at all and you have to give it away for free, that's okay, because with each flip, you're learning a little bit about the business. And just like anything else, the more practice you put into this business, the more of an outcome, a good outcome you're going to get from it. So I say just get out there, get your hands dirty, try it out, and you'll kind of learn along the way.
So as you heard Jake say, get out there and just do it.
Just do it. Yep.
Just do it. So you've watched enough videos on YouTube and TikTok and Instagram. You've listened to enough podcasts. So my encouragement to you, just like Jake said, get out there and just do it.
Do it.
This is the Next Big Flip Podcast.